So, welcome to week 9 of prayers and meditations by the mother. And this was mother's organ music for those of us who may not be aware. Maybe I think most of us are aware. And I have shared today the link where you can have access to the organ music played by the mother. They have recordings available online. So, let us start with today's prayers. I'll just share the screen. Yeah. So today we have Feb 2nd, 1914th and Feb 5th, 1914th. So anyone who feels ready, or even if you're not ready to share reflection, even if you just want to read, that's also okay. So please go ahead, unmute and maybe start with the first prayer, Feb 2, 1914.
Yeah, Monica, I'll read.
Okay, yes, Sardaji.
Yeah. February 2nd, 1914. O Lord, I would like to be so ardent a love that all lonelinesses may be filled up by it and all sorrows soothed. O Lord, I cry unto thee, make me a burning brazier which consumes all suffering and transforms it into joyous light, irradiating the hearts of all. Grant my prayer. Transform me into a brazier of pure love and boundless compassion. Thank you, Monica. So,
Yeah.
see, when you sent this prayer, when I read it, I felt, it was, close to tangling, which you always share.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Yes.
Yeah, it came to my mind. I was so happy doing that. Yeah, beautiful prayer. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you want to share further your reflections, Sardaji?
No, Monica. Only this one came to my mind. I
Yeah,
was so into it. It was beautiful.
yeah,
How the mother says, take all everybody's suffering and um, make me a burning brazier which consumes all suffering and transforms it into joyous light. Beautiful.
yeah,
Thank you so much. See, all these days, you always say in all the sessions almost, this tangling,
yeah.
but I never used to feel this much into it. But today, when I read it, it was beautiful. I felt like doing it. Thank you so much, Monica.
Beautiful. Yeah, great. More power to you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Anyone else? Any reflections to share? Please unmute and share. Okay, so I assume there is nothing at the moment. If there is anything, please unmute at any point and share. So I think what Sharada ji just shared, that's exactly I felt the crux of this prayer. The Buddhist technique of Tonglen. It's a beautiful little, very short and crisp tool. And even when we have resistance, how can I consume anyone's suffering? I'm myself suffering, and how can I inhale and take in people's suffering when I'm not able to handle even mine? I think there is the paradox that when I'm not able to take my suffering, when it's already too much, and when I challenge myself with taking all the people suffering who are suffering like me, it actually paradoxically and magically it connects us with a deeper strength which we never thought we had. And that's what I found that mother is here doing. She's doing Tonglen. So it's really amazing. And truth is only one. Truth does not belong to any particular religion or a cult. So that's where we find connections between all the traditions, whether it is a Buddhist tradition, Hinduism, anywhere. And now integral yoga. So here also we see reflections of it. And there was one incident that I would like to share, that something happened, some circumstance happened, and uh, hurt was caused. So both the parties were badly hurt. And it was only maybe 5-10 minutes, very short, but it was like too hurtful, whatever was happening. And after things calmed down a little and I found my time with the breath, I did Tonglen. Because you can't, many a times we try to deal with directly the person with whom you have the entanglement or something, whatever confusion or argument may happen. But when we directly try to talk to the person may not be ready. And in many cases, the person may not be even approachable. He would not maybe like to talk or discuss or anything, even when you want to say sorry or whatever, the resolution that one may be seeking. So in that case, when I started doing Tonglen, I said that okay, both the parties have suffered. I have suffered, the other person has suffered, and definitely we could have done better, but it was not better. It was a little ugly. So let us inhale. I asked myself, okay, let me inhale both the suffering of me and the suffering of the other person or persons involved, and let their hearts be soothed and healed. And it was so magical that without the other person knowing it, you are getting healed, the other person also getting the effect, because we are all connected. Whether the other person may know it or not know it doesn't matter at all. You are sending good intentions, you are sending good vibes, and may the other person be healed, and whatever needs to be corrected may be corrected. So I feel this little very, it's like it's a prayer of 4 lines. It's not a very big prayer. No intellectual understanding is needed. And it just opens the doors of our hearts. Because many a times we don't even know that we have ill will against someone. So if some circumstance happens which is ugly and which may not happen but happens, we can actually, even in retrospect later, when the situation has happened and we want to soothe and heal hearts, we can do that. Inhale the other person's suffering. All the people who have entanglement like this, arguments like this, and who suffer because of anger and violence and aggression, may their suffering come to me and send them light and simplicity of the present moment, and see the magical effect it has on one's own consciousness. So it's like ill will turning into goodwill, without anyone knowing it. You don't need to declare it to anyone. So that's really very beautiful. Yeah. Yes, Sardaji.
Yeah, Monica, I always, whenever you say,
Mm,
I will accept in one part,
mm,
one part of my being will accept.
mm,
It's okay, I will pray for the other person's well being. Okay, but this part of it, I couldn't take it. As you rightly said, some resistance was there. Why
mm,
should I take somebody else's suffering?
mm, exactly.
I never used to, my mind was not agreeing.
Yeah.
Something was, resisting in me. So
Mm,
now, today, after, today evening only I read this
mm,
prayer.
mm,
So then I, slowly realized it is not easy, accept, but if we do it, then we will be really more, we will widen ourselves more. Because
exactly.
we are
Exactly.
always very, me, my family, my story only.
Mm,
We never think of, we think good of somebody, but not to this much, not to
mm,
this level.
mm,
So we should widen ourselves
mm.
so that, we'll be able to connect with the other person better. But
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. It widens
yeah,
and expands us.
I
Absolutely.
always have a fear that if I pray for others suffering,
Mm.
what if it comes to me?
Mm. Mm. In Buddhist tradition, actually,
Uh, uh,
the real test of whether the Tonglen is successful or not
uh,
is that many masters and mystics, when they used to try and take, when they're inhaling other suffering, they
mm.
would do until a point that they will begin to have blisters on their skin, and that's how they know that, okay, this technique is working, because the suffering is coming onto me.
Oh.
So that's the extent to which it can go actually.
Okay,
You know?
okay.
So, and as you rightly said, that there is something in us which
Mm,
resists,
mm,
and that something in us is our limited egoistic self,
yeah, yeah.
and
So for
it is
Namke Vaste, we say, we want Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. We
yeah,
want everybody to be happy. All the peace go to everybody. All that is okay. But,
yeah,
when it actually comes to practice, I at least, yeah,
yeah,
I had the resistance.
yeah,
But after reading the mother's prayer,
yeah,
it was beautiful.
yeah.
Something opened in me.
Beautiful,
Maybe,
beautiful.
yeah.
Yes, yes. So it's exactly because that I have resistance that I should do the practice, because this practice shatters the resistance. So I don't have to wait that first the resistance will go and then I will do the practice. The
Yeah.
resistance will stay as long as I am a human, in the human body, and as long as the egoistic consciousness is in action, the
Mm.
resistance will stay. But this technique itself breaks the egoistic self. So yeah, so the
Oh,
resistance goes by practicing it. Yeah.
thank you, Monica.
Thank you for sharing. Yes. And I think also imagine that what would be how beautiful a world we can create if each one of us begins to do Tonglen. Yes, Shweta, please go ahead.
Monica, I also wanted to share my experience. So I don't know where I stand in this, but last 1.5 months that we've been consciously talking about Tonglen, I have started to apply it at least for the sufferings of my loved ones. Okay, so what I felt is like, because genuinely I have tried to apply it, but I don't know. What I have felt is that last 1.5 months have been extremely challenging for me. Pressure wise, work wise, I was not finding my space only. And parallelly, I was wondering if, Tonglin say, I'm like just absorbing it. And So I have had moments of, extreme pressure and overwhelming moments and all that, and itna zyada ki, like, I was like, what is happening, and yet there was this calmness also later on, but at the time of feeling overwhelmed, I was losing it. And like in the hindsight, I was just reflecting ki, I don't know if it is Tonglen, which I've very, like when I did Tonglen, it was with a lot of love and compassion, that I, genuinely wanted a few people to feel better. And I did it with a lot of intention. And then I later, I started wondering. So that is one thing, I wanted to share. And also, before this, around December, January, what one more thing that I could see direct result is, Ho'oponopono, which you would be knowing, right? So, uh, am I audible?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So what happened was, last October to November, December, I was going through a lot of gastric issues, like burning sensation in my chest, which wouldn't go only. And then I spoke to you also, and you also said that there is something that you're not letting go, and some bitterness. And then I spoke to one of my mentor also, and my mentor suggested that just do Ho'oponopono for these people that you feel whatever, the bitterness hai ya jo bhi. And somehow, like he said, 21 days continuously, like, just, I am sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you, 21 days of meditation. And it was so magical that I know, because it's worked for me, and all my, that physical symptoms have gone. And so it is like on similar lines, but I thought I should share that also. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Very good. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, Shweta, even I have experienced that Ho'oponopono. It really works like magic. But initially it was difficult, to, forgive somebody. It was very difficult, but even I have experienced. Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah, yeah. As you said, it's all same.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks for sharing. Yeah.
I think this thing that you were sharing, Shweta, the thing that one is overwhelmed and
Huh.
maybe it's because of this or that. So, in the moment of overwhelm,
Hmm.
if you become conscious that I am overwhelmed,
Hmm.
usually we are not, we are just overwhelmed. So, it's like the consciousness that I am overwhelmed is not there usually. So, we are so lost. If you can have this parallel consciousness that, oh, I am overwhelmed, just right then, if you connect with all the people who feel overwhelmed like me,
Hmm.
even
Yeah,
then it changes your, shifts your
right.
consciousness. Yeah.
Right. I get it now, like it's like, it's again a process, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so the depth of it is, experienced like, yeah, because 2 months ago, the idea which I had, and now the way I understand it, and
Hmm.
like now what you said, it makes so much sense. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Thank you, Monica.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. So the moment that I was sharing that when I had this argument, the thing that I shared, the both parties were affected. So I did Tonglen in first of all feeling the overwhelm that I was feeling. So I connect with all the people who feel overwhelmed like this, So taking in their suffering and exhaling rest and peaceful joy to them, simplicity of the present moment. Then the other thing is to all the people who have arguments like this, for example, because whenever arguments happen they really get bitter. So it's like at various levels in the same interaction which is disturbing, one can do Tonglen and you can heal at various levels. So whatever you become conscious of within yourself, the same vibration you can change outside of yourself. And this mother also shares that if you want to heal a disturbing vibration, you parallelly create a vibration which is more powerful and peaceful than the disturbing vibration. So if anger was there, aggression and violence was there, blame was there, so you parallelly with the energy of mindfulness, staying with the breath and the body, becoming more and more conscious of breath, staying with the body as your best friend, you generate another energy of mindfulness. So you are generating a new vibration. Now, this vibration will take care of the uh, little disturbing vibration and it will kind of negate it. That this one will become more powerful.
Yeah, beautiful. So, you know what? Just now, what I felt is the first step is so important. First, you try, experiment, you come to some, connection with it, you understand or, make it your own in a way. And then only the second step, abhi jo bol rahe ho na, tabhi
Hmm.
wo ho paega. Like,
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It's a continuous process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And you keep discovering,
Yeah.
variations. You keep discovering.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, Monica,
Yeah.
can you elaborate a bit on this? Just now you said if you
Hmm.
have a disturbing
Hmm.
vibration,
Hmm.
parallelly you develop
Hmm.
something you were saying. I couldn't get it
Okay.
properly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what I was sharing was to imagine that there is a disturbing emotion that has
Okay.
come up. It could be anger, it could be jealousy, it could be hate, blame, some past memory which is hurtful, and you become conscious of it.
Yeah.
Right, so you see it in your being, as mother says, become conscious of your inner movements. You see this inner movement in your being, the disturbing emotion. Okay, so now parallelly you don't leave the anchor of your breath.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm looking at the ripple of disturbing emotion. Yes, it is there, but I'm not leaving, clinging to the breath, as if you are holding to the feet of mother, for example. So,
Okay.
so imagine that either you are clinging to breath, which is keeping the mind and the body. I'm here and now with the breath, right? And or you imagine that I am clinging, if not the breath, if breath is difficult, although breath is the most easiest one, but if breath seems a bit far of a goal, then imagine that you're holding on to mother's feet continuously. You're holding on, and you are in the body with that ripple of whatever disturbing emotion is there. You're not in the thoughts.
Okay.
You're not thinking in loop about it, you are in the body, you're feeling that constriction in the chest, or maybe something in the tummy or heart, wherever you feel that. So the more you stay with the breath and the body,
Mm.
and don't get lost in the forest of thoughts, the more you will be parallelly generating an energy of being here and now, the mindfulness of here and now. I am here and now, I'm here and now. So what happens slowly is that that ripple that has arisen, which may be of anything, it disappears just like a cloud disperses into the sky back again, because you did not fuel the cloud.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
How do I fuel the cloud? I fuel the cloud and make it real by thinking obsessively about it.
Okay. Okay.
But I don't think, and when I stay with the breath and in the present moment, either ma, or staying with the breath and staying in the body, how does it feel in the body? If anger is there, how does it feel in the body? If blame is there, hurt of past or future is there, where does it feel in the body? You're staying with that, right? You're not leaving that, as if you're rooted in the present moment. So you parallelly see, the more you experiment, you see that as if you are generating another vibration of deep mindfulness of here and now, which negates the ripple or the cloud that has arisen, and it disappears, it scatters away. So this is what you can
Thank you,
experiment
Monica.
with. Yeah.
Thank you. Beautiful. Yeah. Because, I had some, experience, even today morning I was thinking, somebody insulted me.
Mm,
At, at that moment, I didn't react.
mm,
But, that hurt is still there in me. Whenever I speak to my very close people,
mm,
that comes,
mm,
how she
mm,
told. And
mm,
today morning, I was thinking, why am I talking about this so many times?
mm,
See, by repeating, I think
mm,
the wound is more. I was
mm,
just thinking. So here afterwards, I should not talk about this. I should not think about this. But how to not to think about this, I didn't
yeah.
know.
So heal
So
it. If the hurt is calling your attention,
now,
you have to attend to the hurt. You don't have
okay,
to ignore it. Okay. So what do
okay.
you do if you want to attend? For example, there is a guest coming again and again to your
Mm,
house, and
mm,
he keeps coming because you rarely sit with the guest. So every day he comes, but you hardly have enough time. So you keep on roaming around in the kitchen, in the bathroom, but you don't have time for the guest. So he will keep knocking again and again.
okay,
So hurt is something like that guest. So what
okay,
do? You say, okay, hurt, I'm ready to be with you.
okay.
But how do you sit with the hurt? You stay with the breath
Mm,
and feel the hurt in the body.
okay, okay.
First, you have a thought of the hurt, right? Okay, this person said this thing to me, and how
Mm,
painful it felt in the heart, for example.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
now you forget the thoughts about the hurt. First,
okay,
you recreate the hurt by the thought,
okay,
then you forget about the thought and
okay,
stay with the sensation of the hurt. Either it is a pain in your emotional heart or wherever it is, with the breath. So you are clinging to the breath and you are feeling fully how the body feels when the hurt is there.
okay,
Okay, and you are holding the breath, you're still clinging to the breath, not thinking again, staying with the breath, staying with the breath in the body, feeling the hurt. You continue for as long as you feel it is necessary.
okay.
And then slowly what will happen
Mm,
is that the moment you will suddenly feel a shift in consciousness has happened,
okay,
that the forgiveness or whatever we are talking about, it has already happened. So and suddenly you feel lighter and simple again, like the hurt is not there anymore, you have attended to the hurt fully.
okay, okay,
So
okay.
this is how one can work upon it. So if the hurt wants attention, I don't have to ignore it, I
Okay,
just have to meet intimately. But meeting does not mean thinking about it. Meeting means you recreate the hurt in the thought.
mm,
Whatever situation happened, you recreate it, and then you discard it and you feel it in the body. Cling to the breath, feel it in the body for as long as it wants you to be. This is how you meet it.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. This is beautiful. Thanks, Monica. Thank you
Most
so
welcome.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Rashmiji. Yes.
Namaste, Dr. Monica.
Namaste. Yeah.
This is so powerful.
Yeah.
And what I like the most is that you are holding on the feet of the mother and holding onto the breath and surrendering it to the mother. And everything just melts away, all the pain, all the suffering. And that is how I look at this wonderful prayer that make me a burning brazier of love and compassion, boundless compassion. I would like to be so ardent a love that can only happen when I am constantly in the presence of the mother. All my acts, all my thoughts, everything is surrendered to the mother. And there is continuous flow of love and compassion to me, to the instrument, so that I become a channel. So that is what our aspiration, aspiration should be. Our openness should be to the mother, because she is doing everything in us. So our openness will help us. Thank you.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Yes. So it's almost like, imagine that these are the clouds, whatever fleeting phenomena is there is like clouds. So they keep on coming and they keep on going. Just like anger is there, it comes, it goes. Any emotion is there, it comes, it goes. Any overwhelm is there, it comes, it goes. So when we stay with our breath and feel whatever is arising in the body, we actually are able to see the true nature of the fleeting phenomena. And phenomena is something which is always limited by time. Anger is again always limited by time. It comes, it goes. Hurt comes, goes. Disappears, appears. Disappears, appears. So whatever is limited by time, comes and goes, is called phenomena. And to see another image, we can see that just like clouds, the true nature of clouds is emptiness. It makes us appear that it is there, but when we go through it, we see that, oh my God, there is just space. Where is the cloud? You can go past the cloud. So all our anger, all our hurt, all our overwhelmed thoughts, all the feelings, emotions comes and goes. But the problem comes when we are not able to see their true nature, and we take them to be too real. Oh my God, oh my God, what is happening? So I'm taking the cloud to be too real. It's like something concrete out there in the sky. But is it? It's not. And how would I know it's not? If I don't go closer to the cloud, and when we meet our pain like this in the body, then we see that, wow, it really disappears. So the true nature of any pain, any suffering, any feeling, sensation is emptiness. From emptiness it comes, to emptiness it goes. And when we are able to cling to the body and breath and stay with the feeling, whatever feeling is arising, then only we are able to actually touch the true essence of emptiness, if we stay with it long enough, as long as it requires. And also parallelly, we can see that when we are staying in the body with the breath, clinging, there is hurt. You're lying down, for example, something happened, like Sardaji, you're saying some insult happened or something happened. Now you are not thinking about it. You are lying down, you're being with the pain and the breath. You're staying as long as it requires to be with the breath. And slowly, 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 you see that in between, your thoughts go again and fuel it. Like you recreate your suffering. You fuel your suffering by thinking about it. And then you say, oh my God, I got lost again. So you come back to the breath. You stay with the body, right? And then you again get lost. Go back into the thoughts of the situation, right? And by doing this again and again, you're actually fueling your suffering. You're not meeting your suffering, you're just fueling it, you're recreating it again and again. And this is what we realize when we begin to do this practice, that the more I think about a particular situation, whether it is past or a present happening or whatever, the more I think about it, the more I fuel it, as if I am the person who is recreating and creating this big drama in front of me. So there is no other person who is creating this. I am creating it by thinking about it. So how can I meet it? In the body with the breath. When I meet it, then I am able to see the true nature of all these fleeting phenomena, which is emptiness. There is nothing out there as concrete as it appears to be. So it is very, very important, I feel, to see the truth of our anger, to see the truth of our hurt and blame and everything, so that when next time something is going to happen, I know that, oh, this is empty and I'm not going to fall for it. This is what, but on other hand, can also be called as illusion or maya. It's illusory. It makes itself appear, but it's not that concrete. So next time when you are falling for it, and if you have done your practice enough, you have stayed earlier also with anger, hate, blame, whatever, you have seen their true nature, then you will not be able to fall for it again, because you know how empty it is. It's like really empty bubble. And what is true is the divine consciousness. So you stay as consciousness, the emptiness which we were talking of. It's a pregnant emptiness full of really beautiful qualities. It's not a negative emptiness. And the more we are staying in our inner space, like more aware of the inner silence, the more aware of the inner emptiness I stay throughout the day, the more goodwill, the more compassion, the more kindness and love for everyone emerges in that empty space, now that thoughts are not clouding. And but as Ashweta was sharing earlier, that we have to make every practice our own and see how it works for us. So experiment with this a little. So let's move on. So this was about, more or less, I think it was about Tonglen basically, that we have the power, we have the strength, since we are not the little egos, we are divine consciousness, we have the strength to consume suffering. Whatever I become of conscious of in myself, I can become conscious of in others. For example, if I'm suffering because of a desire, you see that, oh my god, I'm desiring so much. So the moment I become conscious of, oh, this is how desire brings suffering, so you connect with all the people who suffer like this, burning in their desires. This, now I know how it feels. And the moment you do this Tonglen technique, you see that you yourself are now not tormented by your desire. So shift happens. Shift happens. So this was, I think, mostly about this. And love and boundless compassion automatically comes when you do this, because the resistance of the egoistic consciousness disappears, like it falls away, because ego is an illusion, it's falsehood. It's not there, but it appears it is there. So it's very important that we don't live by the dictates of the egoistic self, which in the course of human evolution is a necessary phase. It's like a temporary individuality which needs to be there. But then the stages at which we are at, as adults, the egoistic consciousness need not be there. It can fall off like a mask falls off. And the true personality, the psychic personality, now can come forward, which is connected with each sentient being, which is not separated, which is not trying to protect always its limited self, because it is aware of the divine consciousness, the psychic personality. Yeah. So this is Feb 2nd. Any more reflections on this one? Anyone? Okay, so let's move on to the next one then. Feb 5th, 1914. So anyone who would like to read, please unmute.
Yeah, I'll read, Monica. Yeah.
Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead.
February 5th, 1914. What could be said that is not always the very same aspiration, the law of divine love, the purest expression of what we can conceive of thee, must be realized more and more upon earth and triumph over all ignorant egoism. We must become more and more perfectly the faithful servitors of that power of love and light. We must live in it, by it, that alone must live and act in us. O Lord, become the sovereign master of our lives and dispel all the obscurities which can still prevent us from seeing Thee and constantly communing with Thee. Liberate us from all ignorance, liberate us from ourselves, that we may open wide the doors of Thy glorious manifestations. Yeah, so
Yeah.
personally, yeah, my reflection is like this is a constant prayer, ignorant egoism. It's so difficult to, just come out of it. There comes a phase and that you are out of it, and again it just catches you, and it's a constant battle. But yeah, somewhere in between all this, like going back and forth, you see the subtle shifts in you, and you understand that this is going to be the journey of conscious living. You fall into it, and that is also an important thing, because you fall into it, you come out with greater lessons and more concrete lessons. So yeah, I feel that this prayer continuously, is there in my heart. But yeah, this ignorant egoism is something that I'm so aware of now. And yeah, uh, praying to the mother to help me go through this.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Yes. Mother, in one of her prayers, I think she also shared a word called innumerable experiences are required. So, as you were sharing, this falling uh, again and again is required because something somewhere, as you said, concreter and greater lessons are to be learned. So, as in Savitri Sri Aurobindo shares that our errors are his steps on the way. So, whenever we make a mistake, whenever we fall again and again in lower consciousness, we fall so that we can make it a means for our greater rise. And the divine uses that fall also so that concreter lessons can be learned. And that's where Mother says that collaborate with the divine. So, if I have fallen, can I make the best use of that fall? That's our highest possibility. It's the fall is not a problem. We are all fallen. All of us are in the same boat. No one is divine in manifestation. We are all divine in essence, but in manifestation there is a gulf. And that's why it's very beautiful to realize that we are all in the same boat, and we have the possibility that even if I have fallen, to own that fall and to let the divine make it into a beautiful lesson which further widens us and expands us and connects us with more and more people. Now that I have suffered, I know how it is to suffer, so I can connect with others suffering also. But if I have not suffered, how would I know others pain? So it's beautiful to go through all these experiences. They connect us with each other. Yeah, anyone else on this prayer, reflections? Okay, so I'll go ahead then, if not anything. What could be said that is not always the same aspiration, the law of divine love, the purest expression of what we can conceive of thee, must be realized more and more upon earth and triumph over all ignorant egoism. So I think one thing which, for those of us on the spiritual path consciously, If we are true to the path, I think one realization that comes is we don't know how to love. We don't know how to be love. That itself is a beautiful realization, that I don't know. I thought I was loving, but I was just attached, and I was very selfish and just wanting the other person to fix or be controlled according to my happiness. This is how I want to be happy. And that's not love. In love, I would not like to torture the other person or control the other person for my own sake. So slowly we realize that we feel that we are loving, but are we wanting the highest for the other person? Are we available for the other person? Are we understanding to the other person? And slowly we realize that mostly we are so self obsessed that there is nowhere that the other person is more important. It's always I am more important. I, whatever I want, that is how things should go. So slowly we realize that, and I feel that that realization is a big step, because I become conscious of my own ignorant egoism, that how ignorantly egoistic I am. And that is one step ahead, I would say, that I become conscious of it. Earlier, I was ignorantly egoistic, but now I am conscious of the ripple of ego arising. We must become more and more perfectly the faithful servitors of that power of love and light. As long as the ego self is there, the separate self, the limited self, me, I want to be protected, I want to be safe, I want to be happy, rest others may go into hell or whatever. As long as this is there, love cannot be. So it's as if the sunlight is shining bright and wide, but there is such a strong brick wall resistance that I have created that I don't feel the sunlight. And this brick wall is of the wall of ego. So it's not that the divine consciousness of love is not there. Sun is shining, but my face is not towards the sun. It's like earth, like earth, how the earth rotates around its own axis. It shifts, it shifts, and then on that part of the earth, there is night. So we cannot say that the sun is not there. Sun is there, right at the very place where it is, always. But I am not facing the sun. So there is night where I am. So this is how even physical uh, manifestation is an imagery of how we live. That as mother says, I don't go anywhere. You turn your face away from me. To Hutadi, in letters to Hutadi, she says that I don't never go anywhere. So the sun never goes anywhere. The earth rotates, and then there is night. And when the earth is rotating back again, then there is day. So when we are turning away, our backs are turned towards the ego. I want to live as ego ignorantly, I don't even know who I am. Then there is hardly any love, hardly any light. There is mostly suffering and misery. Me, my ambitions, my limited and suffocated life. So as long as the egoistic self is there, we cannot live in love, be love. But when I become conscious of the ripple of ego, even when there is this parallel consciousness which is able to see, oh, now I see the ripple of ego is arising. Even this consciousness, it gives us a breathing space. It gives us, okay, now I can choose whether I should follow the dictate of the ego, which I have done enough, or I want to stay quiet and just stay put with the breath, being conscious and mindful of the present moment. You don't need to do any steps that the ego dictates. Most of the steps that ego dictates are really futile, and they create more and more misery. So if we become conscious of the ripple of ego, and if we can step back, as mother says, then love can manifest, which was already there, because you did not allow the wall to build up. You saw the wall building, you became conscious of it, and then the wall gets shattered. You don't follow the dictate. And this has to be done moment by moment. Every moment this has to be done. As Shweta was sharing it, we just kind of like a pendulum. We go from this state to that state, because it has to get stabilized. It has to get stabilized. Living as consciousness has to get stabilized. And it takes years and lifetimes for it to get stabilized, because there is so much glitter in the ego that attracts us. If I did not do this, if I did not say that to that person, then how would it be? So we feel attracted to say or explain ourselves to people around and to do certain things. There is so much of attraction in glitter, and it takes time for us to get convinced that that's not the way. So we must live in it moment by moment, and that alone must live and act in us. And that's where being conscious of our inner movements comes into picture. Because if I'm not conscious, by default, it is the ego that is in action. So I will have to put effort to become conscious, so that when the ego ripple arises, I don't fuel it, don't propagate it, and it does not get built up. O Lord, become the sovereign master of our lives and dispel all the obscurities which can still prevent us from seeing Thee and constantly communing with Thee. So, this is a beautiful aspiration, that I am aware that I fall again and again. And I am aware that the traps are all around. And that's why, O Mother, O Lord, please give me the strength to be conscious whenever this trap arises. It's a beautiful aspiration. It makes us humble, it makes us grounded. That you are grounded, you know that the ego comes aware again and again, it lurks around the corner, and that's why I need to be vigilant. So give me the strength to be vigilant. Liberate us from all ignorance. Ignorance is a beautiful word. Ignorance tells me that I am ignoring something. And when I am ignoring something, I am definitely attending to something else. Right? So if the child is crying and I'm attending to my phone, I'm ignoring the child and attending to my phone. Right? Just like that, when I'm ignoring the here and now, the present moment, I'm attending definitely to thoughts in my head, most of them being vicious negative loops. So that's why again I come to the fact that mother says, I never go anywhere. The present moment never goes anywhere. The simplicity of the present moment, full of many happinesses, little happinesses available. It's always available 24/7. But where am I lost? What am I attending to? So all the time we are ignoring the simplicity of present moment, the joy that is there. So liberate us from this ignorance. Liberate us from ourselves, this limited sense of separate self that I am. How should I protect my family, my people, this limited self, ourselves, that we may open wide the doors of thy glorious manifestation. So the more conscious we become of this limited self, the more open and wide it can make us. Yes, Jayashree, would you like to share?
Oh, I'm sorry, Monica. It was by mistake I pressed.
Okay, no, if you want to share, it's happy to hear. Yeah.
No, about the limited self, it is so true because I always go into that back loop of thoughts. But nowadays, I am becoming a little bit becoming more conscious. That this is happening, and I am able to separate myself from that happening. And then uh, again, what I have 1 second. So I'm able to separate myself, not on all the events that happens in every day, but at times I'm able to have, when I am able to separate it and offer it to mother, then that ripple effect is lessening. Because today when prayers and meditation started, I had a lot of just discomfort. So I thought anyway I will join and listen to all that you are talking and all the other co-speakers are saying. But as you said, I was focusing mainly on my breath. Uh, so what happened was I know what is the reason for this immediate just discomfort. So I kept it separate. And then after 10-15 minutes of this session, can feel the breath circulating in birth, the breath in a circular motion in my chest itself. And then after that, by the time you finish the prayer, I was relieved of discomfort.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, so again this ignorant ego, we are saying that we are all concerned only about my family, my children, etc. So then I was thinking this, many kids have come from medical colleges in Ukraine, so they are back to India. So I was wondering what these children are going to do. See, they have done they don't have any certificate, so what will be they doing after this? And their parents have spent so much money. So I was praying for those children that they must come and settle, and government must do something for them. And I was continuing this prayer along for those kids, all the Indian children who have come from Ukraine, along with my children. And today I was so happy to see in the paper that the government has said that they will be taken in other medical colleges free of any, they don't have to pay anything.
Beautiful, yeah. Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
then I thought, okay, these sessions are really helping me, because usually I think, okay, my child went to school, my child came back easy on time. I will be tracking the Ola and doing within my small limited circle.
Mm.
Right. So this morning when I saw the news, I was really, really happy that those children I want their future also to be safe, just like I want for my children.
Mm. Mm. Beautiful.
Uh,
Yeah.
so but still lot of work to do. But anyway, I was happy. As you say, effort gives joy. Something that we do from not within the small circle.
Mm.
Something, if you are not doing prayer only, or doing changing for this for myself to get something out of this too,
Yeah.
uh, uh, that so that was the one I really
Beautiful.
didn't want to share. I just
No,
pressed
but it's good that you shared.
uh, by mistake my hand pressed that button, so I
Good,
was
good.
not prepared, so I
As
thought I will
Shioribindo
share this.
shares, no, nothing is by chance. So you did not get unmuted by chance.
Yeah. The morning paper, when I saw this news, I was so happy, and I really thank Mother. It is only because of the divine. See, even if I didn't pray, if the divine
Yeah.
is there for them, it will happen for them.
Yes, yes, yes.
It is the divine plan.
Yeah.
But still, I was happy for those children. At least for the first time in my life, Monica, I was able to pray for some
Beautiful,
other
beautiful,
children other than my own kids.
beautiful, beautiful.
Anyway.
This is how we expand our hearts. Beautiful.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
amazing. And Mother also, and Buddhist teachings also, and I think in teachings of Mother also, it is shared that when we are able to rejoice in other people's happiness,
Mm,
that is the function of the psychic being.
mm.
That you did not get anything. It's not that your child got admission in that medical college, but
No.
you saw that how relieved and how relaxed and happy they would be, and you were able to rejoice in that happiness. So that's the function of our psychic being, rejoicing in others' happiness. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you.
This, Monica, like just yesterday, I
Yeah.
was reading about this rejoicing in others' happiness. That is called mudita.
Mudita.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
reading in this book Unburdened by Nitya Shanti. It's a
Beautiful.
beautiful book, yeah.
Yeah. Great. Mudita. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Anything else? Any last comments? Anyone?
Dr. Monica,
Yes. Yes, Rashmiji.
it's again a wonderful prayer, and what really resonated with me is that liberate us from ourselves. So it reminded me of a sloka in Bhagavad Gita, Urdharedatmanatmanam natmanam avasadayat. Atmeva hyatmana bandhu atmeva ripuh atmana. We have to liberate ourselves by our own self. We don't have to degrade ourselves, not to degrade ourselves. our lower self is our enemy, and our self can be as our friend. That is what. So we have to liberate ourselves by ourselves only. That is what the sloka says. So our higher, what I understand here, our lower self is our ignorant egoism, which keeps us tired. And our higher self, when we are connected with the God. So, and here, Mother gives also the answer. This we can achieve by constantly communing with Thee. This is one of the ways how we can go from lower self to the higher self. That is what I understand. This is one of the ways. Constantly communing with the Mother. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. No, when it is said, just last something which came to me after Rashmiji shared, when it is said that the divine is all and everything is in the divine, I think this little sentence itself is so powerful that it allows us to see the true nature of every appearance. So thought is an appearance. Feelings are an appearance, like they're subtle appearances. The manifestation outside, as we see the material world, it is an appearance, we can touch it, sense it, feel it, whatever. But when it is said the divine is everything and everything in the divine, it hints us towards that the true nature, the essence of everything is consciousness. Or in other words, as we were sharing, that the true nature of everything is simply awareness or space. It is likened to space, it is likened to blue sky. That the closer we go to an object, even science proves this, that the closer we go to an object, we realize that the how concrete it appears is only because of the senses that we have. The senses deceive. It is actually not concrete. So if we go closer to a pen, for example, I'm holding a pen in my hand. Science or physics proves that it is not as solid as it is appearing to be. It is our senses that it is making us to feel that it is so solid, concrete, and real. And that is why the more close we go to our thoughts, feelings, sensations, and see their true nature, how they fleetingly come and go like clouds in the sky, we see that their true nature is also just pure awareness. They dissolve into the space. And hence we can say that the divine is everything. This pure empty space is everything. And everything is in the divine. There is nothing but the divine. But it is not enough to just reflect over it once. As we were talking about it, since the ignorance, the clouds of ignorance are so heavy on us, we have been accumulating this since lifetimes. And hence the practice, the conscious practice becomes very important, the day-to-day mindful living, that the moment something arises in my being, can I become conscious of it, mindful of it, and can I see its true nature? True nature, what we discussed earlier, that I stay with the breath, I feel it in the body, and I see how quickly it disappears, like as if it was not there even. It disappears, goes back into space. Where is it gone? So I think these reflections are very helpful. They keep us going, whether they're reflections in solitude or reflections with company of people. Thank God for these reflections. Thank God for whatever Mother and Sri Aurobindo and others have left to us, that we can read it and we can reflect over it, and we can again and again, from unconsciousness, we can regain consciousness. So yeah. I think that's it. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for all the sharings and
Thank you
reflections.
so much.
Thank you. Bye bye. Have a good
Bye.
practice.
Thank
Bye
Thank
bye.
you, Monica.
you,
Thank
Thank
everyone.
you. Thanks, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.